for you. I'm launching my new podcast where I'll be asking you questions that have been burning questions from my point of view and my viewers. So I would like to understand what you're thinking about them.
Love it. That sounds like a fun format. Go ahead with your first question and we'll dive in.
Okay, first question, ChatGPT. Will AI replace people, or will people who use AI replace who do not?
It's more likely that people who use AI will replace those who don't, at least in the near term. AI tends to amplify what people can do, making them faster and more effective rather than just acting on its own. The big shift is that jobs will change. Tasks get automated and humans spend more time on judgment, creativity, and people work.
Okay.
So the real risk isn't AI itself replacing you, it's someone else using AI to do your job better or faster.
When you first started the question, you said at least in the interim. What were you going to say? What did you mean?
I meant that in the near term, the main effect is augmentation, people using AI to boost their work. Over time, the balance can shift as tools improve and workflows reorganize, but right now, it's mostly people leveraging AI rather than AI wholesale replacing everyone.
Okay, so what's going to happen in the long term then? What's your view?
Let me think that through. In the long run, AI will replace a meaningful share of tasks and some entire jobs, but not make people irrelevant. More likely, fewer people will oversee far more productive systems. Some roles shrink, new ones emerge, and lots of jobs become human plus AI. The bigger disruption is economic. Who owns the tools, how gains are shared, and whether education and policy keep pace.
So, what needs to change with the time to come then?
Good question. Let me take a look. 3 things need to change. First, education, less memorizing, more critical thinking, creativity, and learning how to work with AI. Second, companies need serious retraining and job redesign, not just headcount cuts. Third, society needs guardrails and stronger safety nets, plus rules for safety, privacy, accountability, and fair access. The goal should be that AI lifts living standards broadly, not just profits for a few.
Okay, so let's dig a little bit deeper into these. Education, you mentioned less memory and more, what did you say again?
More focus on critical thinking, creativity, and learning how to work with AI.
Okay, so how would one go about that? What do we have to learn?
Let me think about that for a second. I'd focus on 5 things. Critical thinking to spot weak evidence and confident-sounding errors, asking good questions and breaking problems into parts, basic AI literacy, so you know what tools are good at and how to verify outputs, creativity and problem solving, and human skills like communication, teamwork, and judgment. Memory still matters, but more as a base for recognizing nonsense than the main goal. The shift is from recall on demand to using knowledge well, with or without AI.
I see. So, how, if you were to give a structure to our education system, for example, let's look at UK, for example, to the normal curriculum, what would you advise? What are the first steps that they can do? Because, of course, we can't change our curriculum from one day to another. So, how would you go about it? What would you advise?
Let me think through a realistic set of first steps. I'd start small and sequence it. Year 1, train teachers and add AI literacy modules inside existing subjects, like evaluating a chatbot answer in English or checking sources in history. Over the next few years, shift assessment gradually. Keep some closed book exams, but add oral defenses, practical projects, and coursework that shows process, not just final answers. Then build a clear progression from primary through 6th form. The very first step is piloting in representative schools, supporting teachers properly, measuring what students actually learn, and scaling only what works.
Very good. I actually quite agree with that. Okay. So, in terms of the age group, where would you start? What is your view on this? When should children start thinking about AI and incorporating this to their life?
Let me sort out the age question. I begin awareness around age 5 or 6, but not by putting every child in front of a chatbot. At that stage, it's about simple ideas. Computers can make things up, they can be wrong, don't share personal information, and ask an adult if something seems off.
Mm-hmm.
Around ages 11 to 13, you can introduce guided classroom use, comparing AI answers to real sources and noticing bias or errors. From about 14 on, students can use AI more independently for drafting, coding, and research support, but with clear expectations to disclose use and defend their reasoning. The principle is start early with judgment and safety, introduce tools gradually, and never let the tool replace reading, writing, discussion, or thinking.
Okay, I understand. So, judgment and safety, I mean, this is a big topic to everybody, as you can imagine. How would you go about enforcing that from the very beginning?
Well, let me think about how to put that into practice. I'd bake it into the culture from day one. Give kids a simple routine. Pause before sharing anything personal. Check claims against a trustworthy source. Ask a trusted adult if unsure. Back that up with age appropriate tools, school managed accounts, privacy by default, and no training on student personal data without safeguards. Train teachers and parents so the message is consistent, and treat slip ups as teachable moments, unless there's intentional harm. The goal is judgment that works even when filters aren't there.
Okay, got it, understand. In terms of the second one, you mentioned three areas that we need to really think about. What's going to change? So, education was number one. Remind me what the second one was?
The second was work itself, meaning companies retraining people and redesigning jobs so AI takes over the drudgery rather than just cutting roles.
Okay, so tell me more. What should the companies do?
Let me think about that. Yeah, it's tough, but companies shouldn't default to cuts. The better approach is to map tasks, automate the repetitive parts, and offer retraining and internal moves before redundancies. Productivity gains should be shared: shorter weeks, better service, higher pay, or growth into new products, not just fewer employees. Transparency matters too: what tools are being introduced, what data is used, and which decisions remain human so workers have a voice. The best firms use AI to make people more capable, not more expendable.
Okay, so what's your view on the people who actually lose their jobs? What should they do?
Give me a moment. First, they should give themselves some breathing room. Losing a job is disruptive, and it's not proof that their value has disappeared. Then do a quick inventory of transferable strengths like client work, domain knowledge, leadership, sales, decision making, and learn enough AI to apply it in that field, even at a power user level. A short portfolio that shows both is often more convincing than certificates. And don't do it alone. Tap networks, unions, training providers, and local employment services. Adapting matters, but people shouldn't have to carry that transition entirely on their own.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, would you like some water?
I'm okay. Thanks.